top left side. It is going to be VortiX, currently up 1-0 in this series, but you know what? While I am excited for him, I'm definitely excited for MVPKeeN, who is spawning down in the bottom right side, because I feel like, I mean, going into that map, he's got to know the stats, he's got to know what's going to be coming his way, and this is a best of 5, so I don't think he's going to let that get him down at all, and I would not be surprised to see more standard KeeN here than we saw in the first game.
Yeah, especially on a map like Ohana. The big thing on this map is that as the game goes later on, a fourth base for a Zerg player is very difficult to hold and keep alive. Because if you look at on the map, the fourth base is either on the right-hand side or on the left here, and both of them are very close to either the Zelnoga Tower in the middle, which is the right-hand side base for the Zerg, or if they take the left-hand side, it's very close to KeeN's fourth. So either way, KeeN is very easily able to branch left and right with a fast mobile army, Marine Marauders, compared to the Infestors and Broodlords, the immobile army, and these bases have a very hard time staying up. So if they approach the late game on a level playing field, or if not, if KeeN is in the lead, then I think VortiX is in a world of trouble. But anything before that, completely open for VortiX to smash through.
And also in the last game, I mean, we saw the choice of Ultralisk being used. I've seen both Ultra and Broodlord on this map. Just really quickly, while it's kind of shaping up here, do you have any thoughts on Broodlords versus Ultras for either last map or this map?
I'm sorry, I actually went to Gummy there.
Oh, no, it's all good. I was just wondering, because in the last game we saw Ultralisk be used, which people always tweet at me, like, why would you use Ultralisks? In this map, are Ultralisks going to be a viable option?
Ultras are really good initially, but you have to make sure that the Great Aspire is there for a very fast transition, because Ultralisks are like the surprise, hello Marines, but then eventually they get counted out. So Ultras is really good to begin with, but you have to have a very fast escape plan from them too.
And right now we do have, well, you were mentioning a double Rax was going to be in KeeN's game book. It looks like that's exactly what he's going to be doing here. And based on the timing of this, how aggressive is this double Rax actually going to be?
It's not that aggressive actually. It was actually rather late-ish. It was like 12-13 or 12-14. So it's not the fastest. And VortiX though, and if you think about the way that KeeN played it in game 1, he denied the command center from going down. So it's very similar to how things are mapping out so far. And we see the Overlord though for VortiX actually hovering on the hatchery. So he will be in a little bit of light upon this coming, but not intensely. He doesn't exactly know this is coming, so it still could catch him by surprise.
Now he does have the center tower there. He saw the Marine coming up, also saw an SCV coming up, and that's going to be an interesting tell, because it's like, well, why are you sending both of these guys? It's most likely going to be a 2-rack. So you can see he knows something's up. He has 6 Zerglings on the way right now, and does he overreact and throw down a Spine Crawler here just to make sure he is going to be in pretty good shape? Down goes the bunker here, but with the Lings on the way, should be able to deny this bunker, but there is a second SCV as well, putting a bunker on the low ground here. So even though the positioning of the buildings wasn't aggressive, the positioning of these bunkers is a lot more aggressive. He's going to have to pull drones here. He knows that he gets a nice surround on the Marines, does force them back. He does not want these Marines escaping, though. He is going to allow the bunker to get dangerously close to completing before taking out that SCV. And right now, we're just going to kind of wait to see once it stabilizes, did he hold this off effectively? Keep in mind that bunker up there is less than a second away from being done. Down it goes. It was actually paused at 40 out of 40, but he has to be careful not to let Marines inside there.
Indeed, he does not. That was very close to that SCV actually staying alive with like 2 HP. And now the drones and Lings are fighting against the Marines. Marines doing a great job here because there's not that many Lings. But with the Queens out and 8 more Lings on the way, this has to be backed off, I think. VortiX is going to be able to push this back eventually, though KeeN gets in this bunker and can start to micro in and out. But with 2 Queens and all these Lings, this bunker will just get surrounded and shut down quite easily.
Yeah, it needs to kill out that SCV though, although the SCV just chilling out before getting sliced down. Can he kill the bunker here? No, he didn't get it in the red. Oh, that's such an annoying loss for VortiX right now. He thought for sure he was going to hold this off beautifully, but now he's at a worker deficit. He's forced to make more and more Lings here. This can be salvaged. The other bunker is not completed, but once he cancels that, it's as good as salvaged, and does finally get it in the red right there. He could actually back out here and just let that bunker die. He does decide to commit there on that attack, but I feel like, you know, basically how KeeN followed this up with macro, he's going to be okay here. But, I mean, I guess he's invested a lot of Marines, but Marines tend to always be good in this matchup.
Yeah, really good opening by KeeN here. And, you know, VortiX thought he could bring that down, but it wasn't quite enough Lings there. And the drone count is really low compared to where it should be. It's 22 versus 22, both of them on idle, same amount of drones, sorry. And with the command center about to be done on the low ground, it's not too bad. KeeN has actually added on another barracks though. So we see 3 barracks wall off, which could look very standard here, but with another barracks in the main base, then a factory, he's actually going to be going for quite an aggressive play mid-game here. So he's not going for like straight away rectile, not going for a 3rd command center or double engineering bay. He's actually going to be throwing the gas into upgrades for the Marines early on, whether that be stim and combat shields, but for sure, he's going to be playing quite an aggressive style against what it seems to be a catching up Vortex play.
Oh man, on the right side, I don't know if they caught it on the stream, but there was a drone trying to expand. Actually killed the Marine there with that drone, but it does look like they are eventually going to clean out that drone. So the expansion is not going to go down quite yet. And yep, down goes that poor little drone. He was a hero, but unfortunately for VortiX, I mean, that means that the expansion is going to be delayed even more. He is making more drones on the back of this. He doesn't have Zergling speed. That's something that's so important here, is he can't even engage Marines in the center of the map. That's how easy it is for KeeN to get center map control. He can get center map control with Hellions, with really any unit right now, because of the lack of metabolic boost. The metabolic boost is on the way, but notice how he got it after 9 additional drones on the way, because really he's having to cut corners here to try and get back in this game.
Oh, what is KeeN doing? He's actually floating around these factories. He initially started off with a reactor on the factory, then went off, then went back on here. And we are going to have combat shields initially and reactor Hellions coming out. Is he going to do anything? No, so he's just going to stay on these reactor Hellions. But this follow-up, and like you said, without speed, he can't really deal with just simple Marines. And again, on the right-hand side, a Marine almost brings down a drone. So that 3rd base delayed again. And even with speed, he doesn't have a Baneling Nest down. He only has the evolution chambers because he doesn't have that much money to spend in every single angle. So this next attack with combat shields, with Hellions, is going to be dangerous just like the 2-racks was initially.
I love this from KeeN, throwing down supply depots here to make a new wall in. Again, it's kind of, he still might build something there, I'm not sure. But anyways, he's basically taking down the rocks and also locking this down, so if there's a Zergling counterattack, he can just raise those up extremely easily to deal with that. So he has just been going on point this game so far, as he's going to go ahead and it looks like he could secure that base if he wanted to, but at the same time, I mean, look at the production tab. 2 Hellions, 4 Marines, combat shields on the way. Stim pack is not done though, so that's something to keep in mind if this Baneling Nest gets done in time, is that it's only going to be standard Marine micro. There's not going to be any stim to help save them. That 3rd base is almost done, but my goodness, look at the timing here. It is so heavily delayed at this point.
Oh, and he loses a lot of lings there too, actually, just right running past, and even more lings go down. This is disastrous here for VortiX. It's just not really going well for him this game. But now the Baneling Nest is done. Baneling speed is on the way, 24 more lings, but are enough Banelings going to be out in time before he even loses this 3rd base? Because combat shield Marines, they're going to survive a lot more. They can do a lot of damage too, and he may just lose his 3rd base.
He may just lose the game straight up, because you got to remember, he's just relying on very fragile, micro-intensive units. I mean, KeeN, as long as he's off of creep, he's going to be extremely fine if he's on creep. All he has to do is spread, which you can see he's already preemptively spreading here, and VortiX is going to fight and try and take this out, but the Baneling's not connecting on anything important, and it could be just as simple as that right here, because all he needed to do was micro-burst that unit's lost, heavily favoring Terran. 3rd base is going to fall here. And, I mean, that 2-racks pressure has just snowballed into what we're seeing now, which is a delayed 3rd. It's a killed 3rd at this point. And the fact of the matter is that he's stuck on Zergling Baneling. He has a Spire now done. But guess what? He's only got 50 minerals. That's not going to be enough for any amount of Mutalisks right now. And Baneling speed not going to be done. Even if he holds this off, it's 2 base versus 3. His tech will be scouted. And he just doesn't have a whole lot going on right now.
Indeed, and he's going to wait for Baneling speed, I guess, before he goes in, or is he? He kind of has to go before Baneling speed because he's under so much pressure, and he does go in. A great spread once again by KeeN, but there may be just enough lings here, or not even enough. No, with the Hellions there, no, there isn't. And once again, KeeN smashes his way through another army while expanding at the behind this, while adding on Stim too, and things are just so working out so well here.
Yeah, and as we were mentioning before, I mean, even with the lings out, if that's all you have versus this army composition at this stage of the game, then it just takes a little bit of micro to carry that momentum forward. And again, yes, maybe he can make enough lings, maybe enough Mutalisks to hold this off, even losing some drones right there. But it's the follow-up that's just going to be absolutely brutal. You can already see another army kind of grouping together here at the 3rd base. He's got Stim Pack already done. VortiX has finally held, but I surely would not go as far as to say stabilize unless he kills off 30-plus workers with these Mutalisks. I mean, he's still going to be behind.
Yeah, and Medivacs are going to come out now as well. 1-1 on the way. Turret should be going up immediately, and the turrets may not actually complete in time. It's going to be very, very close if the mutas dart straight towards the base, but if they take some long route here and go by the Xel'Naga Tower, try to clean up some units, then the turrets will finish, and with the turrets finishing, that's disastrous because he can't even get in to do the damage necessary.
We do have 3 missile turrets in the main. There's none at the natural quite yet, so I mean, I guess it's kind of vulnerable, but he is killing off the Hellions with the Mutalisk. As we've seen in games past, I mean, yeah, you can kill off a Hellion here or there, but those are basically free units in comparison to killing off a lot of workers right now. And so at this point, I mean, yeah, he sees there's no 4th over on this left side, might kill off these Hellions once again, but at the same time, he needs to be doing economic damage. He himself does not even have a 3rd base up right now. So KeeN, as long as he just kind of sits back, plays defensively, I mean, I feel like he could push out almost at any time he wants, but he is deciding to play it more safe. Getting the 1-1, slowly working on getting a bigger army, but also, I mean, look, he's making more production facilities, still making 3 workers at a time, and just playing it nice and safe here.
And it looks like VortiX is not even trying to build drones now. He's just going for a last-ditch attack, knowing how far behind he is. KeeN spots it too, but KeeN has tanks on the way. They do not have siege tech though. That's a really big and important factor here. So KeeN's going to actually have to defend this with Marines alone. They do not have 1-1 either, and VortiX is going to try this last possible attempt to continue through.
Well, I mean, he got it before the depot wall went down. The Baneling's going to be rolling up here. Can he get phenomenal hits here? The Marines are spreading out pretty well. Does look like the bunker will fall, so he may actually kill off 1 expansion here. SCV is trying to escape the Baneling death ball, but can they get away? About half of them do, even more than that, I think. And that means that only Mutalisks remain, which means that Stim Marine army can push this on out of here. He did lower the supply, even them out a little bit. But at the same time, I mean, he's about as all in as it gets at this stage of the game because, look, no more drones on the way. He's got Zerglings and Banelings on the way. That's it. And I feel like he may have 1 more wave in him because that's going to be right when the +1-1 finishes. It's already done for KeeN here, and he has got to do massive damage right now.
And this is it. Can VortiX go 2-0 in this series? So is KeeN going to tie it up? Siege Tech still not ready. The Stim Marines go in. SCVs may be called to fight here. And VortiX seems to be doing enough, but the spread is excellent once again by KeeN. And the Mutas are no match for these 1-1 Marines. 20 more Lings on the way, Husky. But now the bunkers are complete on that 3rd base. And KeeN, very, very, very close, is going to, be able to hold on to this game.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Double bunker done, even mixing in a Thor to kind of deal with those Mutalisks. Doesn't even need to make any more medevacs right now. Can just spend it on siege tanks, Marines, and even more upgrades here. And VortiX is continuing making Zerglings, but at the same time, that siege tank now on the high ground. He's got to start raking in kills. He's got to be it for VortiX. I can't imagine him being able to end the game right here, right now. He has managed to kill off SCVs time and time again, but he is already so far behind. There's only so much you can do. The missile turret's done, and there's the GG from VortiX as it is going to tie up